Thanks a lot for staying with us. In the papers this morning now, we're looking at the Guardian newspaper. The big story there is, you may call it a special report on how it says the National Assembly sabotaged bids to revive the economy since 1999. And there is the picture that, the caption or the picture, so to speak, that catalogues all the presidents of the Senate since 1999, of course, with the incumbent Senate president, that is Godswill Akpabio. In other stories, court orders interim forfeiture of seized oil bunkering ship to FG. Tinubu celebrates Pastor Enoch Adeboye of the RCCG, who clocks 82 today. Oni of Ife, as well as other Yoruba monarchs, vow to end insecurity in Southwest. And just below the masthead, living in bondage of deceitful recruitment into drug marketing. That's also another expose. And an interview there, prioritizing personal growth is essential to pursue success and fulfillment. That's all on the Guardian. You may want to check them all out. Next is the Punch newspaper, Saturday Punch. NIN linkage, banks may block 70 million accounts. Customers demand extension as banks brace for enforcement. MTN disconnects 4.2 million lines not linked to NIN. POS operators protest deadline. Another story there, costly fitness regime search for perfect body may lead to grave. And there's a sad one there of the loss of Sisi Quadri, popular Yoruba actor. Mourners throng his residence at Iwo, Osun State, while the governor of the state, Adeleke, and others, including entertainers, mourn the loss of Sisi Quadri, who died at the age of 44. All right, next is the Saturday Vanguard. Tinubu's headache, it says, how multi-billion-dollar corruption under Buhari hit the economy. That's the big story on the Saturday Guardian newspaper. It's said to be an investigation. Culprits already being identified. Negotiations for the refund to the National Treasury ongoing. Political interference may compromise efforts. Now, kick out 38 ministers, cut down costs. Olisa Agbakoba, a senior advocate of Nigeria, tells Tinubu. Airpeace to London will be different, Allen Oyema is saying there. Couple, retired colonel, arrested for printing fake currency notes. We saw that earlier on the news during the show. Wigwe built private tomb before death struck, where how he will be laid to rest. Of course, African Grammy, another story there on the front page of the Vanguard. We won't alienate home awards. Now we check out Platform Times. Youth unemployment, poverty driving insecurity in Africa. AFDB president. Widow drags Sharia judge to court over alleged mischief. 3 illegal BDC operators sentenced to jail in Kano. Sultan of Sokoto reveals untold contributions of the late Herbert Wigwe to Nigeria's unity. Let's take one more. Residents in Kaduna block BUA company truck loot noodles amid allegations of price hike. And the next paper to look at is Leadership Weekend. Leadership Weekend is leading with PMS landing cost hitting 1,000 naira mark. Naira depreciation erodes gains of subsidy removal. FG urged to promote gas as alternative to petrol. And stakeholders react as CBN revokes licenses of more than 4,100 BDCs. These stakeholders are saying that the Forex black market will swell. We'll see how that goes. Reps panel summons Binance Holdings over alleged terrorism financing as well as money laundering. Guavon to replace Pesero as Super Eagles coach. That's also on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. Finally, with me is The Nation. The Nation Saturday says over 4,000 BDCs lose licenses over in CBN crackdown, and there is also said to be a confusion over the $10 billion Binance fine claim. Lawyer who brutalized maid to face attempted murder charge. Popular Nollywood actor Sisi Quadri dies at 44. We're not after your job. Another story there, that's the NLC speaking to the president. Electricity, FG pays $120 million out of $1.3 billion gas debt. And finally, INEC opens Edo governorship nomination portal on Monday next week.
All right, now we'll move on to Saturday Independence. And the big story here says, why we revoke over 4,000 BDC operators' licenses? That's coming from the CBN. An IGP office secures forfeiture of vessel arrested by Navy Tatita Security Services, others, and also protests NLC involvement in partisan politics undermines its credibility. Activists they are talking, and also implementation of our own reports will improve governance. That's coming from
Governor Uzodinma.
And women should be given equal platform to flourish. Honorable Talabi, they're talking on the Master Pesir throws Super Eagles Cup qualifiers campaign off balance. And Bonaboy Foundation renovates physically challenged persons' home in River State. Right now, we'll move on to other papers. And we'll move on to Voice of Liberty at the moment. And the big story here says, channel your energy towards tackling nation's challenges. NLC replies, Tinubu, that's the Voice of Liberty at this time. And we are not politicians. It's our time to protest. TUC, they're talking. And more stories. Tinubu appoints 4 professionals to head TCN. And Sarah queries NEMA over alleged $1 billion paid to Israel call since 2010 to undelivered new aircrafts. Over undelivered new aircraft, I beg your pardon there. And also Kaduna resident loot Boako truck, steal cartons of noodles. Very interesting there. Restructuring Shoyinka calls for decentralization in Nigeria. And away from that, let's move on to Salient Times. And the big story here says, Forex crisis, CBN revokes operational licenses of 4,173 BDCs. And we are not politicians. It's our right to protest, TUC tells President Tinubu. And more stories there. Police hit my buttocks with machete. Lagos residents attack over Ludo game recount ordeal. And on the masthead, we have Pesero officially dumped Super Eagles. Sisi Quadri died 1 week after we met Yomi. Fashlanso there talking. Hardship hoodlums loot truck load of spaghetti in Zaria. And man allegedly commits suicide over a native doctor. Allegedly commits suicide after a native doctor told him he had few days to live. Quite pathetic. Let's quickly move on to Saturday Telegraph. And big story here says, CBN revokes operational licenses of 4,173 recalcitrant BDCs to trace 1.63 trillion treasury bills to second quarters in 2024. And the big story here says, acting chairmanship raucous in PDP over Damago's continued stay in office. All the big stories there on the front page of Saturday Telegraph this morning. And Nigeria must focus on productive use of electricity. Presidency, they're talking. We move on to the Daily Trust at this time. And the big story here there says, Spaghetti Lady Boa truck looted in Zaria. FG to begin grain distribution in Niger. And Daragua's resignation stirs controversy over Kano's war against immorality. 2027 issues threatening opposition parties propose merger. And CBN revokes licenses of 4,173 BDCs. Now, MTN disconnect 1.2 million lines after NCC's deadline. Pesero resigns as Super Eagles coach. And also on the masthead, Nigerian conjoined twins separated in Saudi Arabia. And now we move on to, that's the last one, Saturday Times. And the big story there says 12 billion naira bribery scandal, Customs High Command, G3 as EFCC quizzes more top officials. And also more stories there. SIM linkage, MTN disconnect 4.2 million subscribers in 48 hours. How 300 level IMSU students murdered final year of Futo undergraduates. And also Binance expert warns of exacerbated economic woes. And Tinubu appoints new FGN Power Company management team. All the stories there on the front page of Saturday Times this morning. Over to you, Kemi.
Oh, all right. So many stories there.
Very
It's
interesting
the
stories
weekend,
at this
as
time.
usual. One that stood out for me was the cheering news of the two conjoined twins
All right,
who were separated. Of course, there are so many other stories that you may want to look out for about happenings in Nigeria.